Hi everyone, hope you all are good. We are here for grade 4 math. So you can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 4 and then click on view all lessons. So there you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter data and graphs. The lessons we are going to cover from the chapter are circle graphs. Choose the best type of graph. Then we'll start the new lesson, that is patterns and sequences. The lessons we're going to cover are find the next shape in a repeating pattern and complete a repeating pattern. So let's just start with the chapter data and graphs. So here I am on grade 4 math. Let's just start with the chapter data and graphs. Okay, let's just start with the lesson circle graph. Here it is. Let's just start with the lesson. Okay, so what fraction does one section in the circle graph represents? So you have to see what fraction of one section in the graph represents, right? So let's just count the total sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the graph has total 11 sections, right? So each section is worth 1 out of 11, right? Because the total sections are 11. So each one has 1 over 11. Okay. What fraction does one section in the circle graph represents? Okay, so the graph has 7 portions, 7 sections, right? So each section is worth 1 out of 7 because they all are the equal sections. So one section is worth 1 out of 7, right? Okay, the next one is what fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? So which is the correct option? Just count the sections of on the graph. So the graph has 9 sections, right? So that means each section is worth 1 out of 9. Let's just start with the practice questions. Okay, what fraction does one section in the graph circle graph represent? So which is the correct option? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The graph has 7 sections, right? So one section is worth 1 out of 7, right? The correct option is 1 out of 7. Okay, which fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? The graph has total 11 sections. So one section is worth 1 out of 11. The correct option is 1 out of 11. Okay, what fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? So, which is the correct option? The correct option is 1 out of 8. Because the graph has total 8 sections, So one section worth 1 out of 8. What fraction does one section in the circle graph represents? Which is the correct option? The graph has 12 sections. So one section represents 1 out of 14, 1 out of 12, right? So the correct option is 1 out of 12. Option number 2 is the correct option. What fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? So which is the correct option? The graph has total 4 sections, right? So one section is worth 1 out of 4. The correct option is 1 out of 4. What fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? So which is the correct option? The graph has total 5 sections, right? So that means one section is worth 1 out of 5. So the correct option is 1 out of 5. The correct option is 1 out of 5. What fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? Which is the correct option? The correct option is 1 by 2 because the graph has two sections. So each section is worth 1 out of 2. The correct option is 1 out of 2. Okay, what fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? So which is the correct option? The correct option is 1 out of 10 because the graph has total 10 sections. So the graph represent 1 out of 10. The correct option is 1 out of 10. What fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? So which is the correct option? The correct option is 1 out of 3. graph has total 3 sections and each section represent 1 out of 3. What fraction does one section in the circle graph represent? So which is the correct option? It would be 1 out of 9 because the graph has total 9 sections. So each section is worth 1 out of 9, right? Okay, we're done with the lesson. Let's just start with the next lesson. The next lesson is choose the best type of graph. So basically, when you are given with the data, you have to select what type of graph is suitable for the data, right? So how do you understand? Just look at the examples. Which type of graph would best show the population of a city each year for 10 years? So, the best type of graph to show the population of a city each year for 10 years is a line graph. Why? Because it shows the value that changes over time. So, whenever you have to represent some data that changes over a specific period of time, then you have to use the line graph, right? Okay, what is the best type of graph to show the number of red grapes and the number of green grapes in several cups? So the best type of graph to show the number of red grapes and green grapes in several cup is double bar graph, because double bar graph is used to compare two sets of data, right? Whenever you have to compare two sets of data, you have to use double bar graph. The next one is which type of graph would best show the number of boys and number of girls who like soccer, basketball, or tennis? Again, you have to compare two sets of data, so you have to use double bar graph, right? Let's just start with the practice questions. Okay, which type of dead graph would best show the population of a city each year for 10 years? So, which is the correct option? The correct option is line graph, right? Whenever you have to represent a data over a specific period of time, you have to use the line graph. The correct option is line graph. Which is the best type of graph to show the number of cookies three students baked for the class party if there were 10 cookies in each batch? So which is the correct option, pictograph or line graph? The correct option is pictograph, because you have more than one, you have to show the number of cookies three students baked, right? So you have to use the pictograph. Which is the best type of graph to show the number of teachers in each school in a city, line graph, bar graph? Which is the correct option? You have to show the number of teachers in each school in a city, you have to use bar graph, right? Line graph is used for a specific period of time, but here you have to use the bar graph. Which is the best type of graph to show the number of red grapes and the number of green grapes in several cups? Which is the correct option, pictograph or double bar graph? The correct option is double bar graph, because we have, whenever you have to show the data that compares two of the data sets, you have to use the double bar graph. So the correct option is double bar graph. Which is the best type of graph to show the number of pens purchased by each teacher if pen comes in a box of 10? Which is the correct option? Pictograph or double bar graph? You In this case you have to use the pictograph because you don't know the number of teachers, right? We have more than two teachers and the data is divided into group of 10, so you have to use pictograph. Which is the best type of graph to show the number of tennis balls in two different stores? If tennis ball comes in four different stores, if tennis balls come in containers of three, so which is the correct option? Double bar graph or pictograph? The correct option is pictograph. Which type of graph would you use to show the number of students who went on the field trip and the number of students who did not go on the field trip in each class? So, which is the correct option? So, you have to compare two sets of data, right? You can use the double bar graph in this case. The correct option is double bar graph. Which type of graph would you use to show the number of fish in each tank? Bar graph or double bar graph? You have to use bar graph, right? Because you don't know how many tanks do you have. You have to show the number of fish in each tank, so that would be using, you can represent using bar graph, right? What type of graph would best show the number of boys and number of girls who like soccer, basketball, or tennis? So, which is the correct option? Bar graph or double bar graph? Y- That is a comparison of two data sets, number of boys and number of girls, like, right? So, you can use the double bar graph. Which type of graph would best show the number of jelly beans eaten by each child at a summer camp? So, which is the correct option? The correct option is by each child at a summer camp. So, it would be, you can use stem and leaf plot, right? Because you have so many numbers of students in a summer camp. So, when you have a large data set, you can use the stem and leaf plot, right? Okay, we are done with the lesson. So, we are done with the chapter data and graphs. We're going to start the new chapter. So, let's just go back. So start with the last chapter from A plus students, that is patterns and sequences. So let's just start with the first lesson. Find the next shape in a repeating pattern. So let's just start. Okay, which comes next? So you can see you have a repeating pattern, right? The pattern repeats itself. Triangle, circle, triangle, circle, triangle, circle, triangle, circle. So you have a triangle here. Which one is next? After every triangle, you have a circle in the pattern, right? So that means the correct option is the circle. Okay, the next one is what what shape comes next? Okay, just look at the pattern. Pattern repeats these shapes over and over. So circle, triangle, circle, triangle. That means right after the circle you must have a triangle. So here the last one is circle. So the next one would be the triangle, right? Okay, which shape comes next? You have a triangle, square, triangle, square. That means the pattern repeats these shapes over and over. So right after a triangle you have the square. So the correct option is square. So let's just start with the practice questions. Okay, what shape comes next? So which is the correct option? The correct option is circle because the pattern repeats itself over and over, right? So right after a triangle, you have a circle. So the correct option is circle. Which shape comes next? So which is the correct option? The next one is triangle, right? Right after square, you have a triangle. Okay, what shape comes next? So which is the correct option? Yes, that is a circle. What shape comes next? So which is the correct option? The correct option is triangle. Right after circle, you have a triangle in the pattern, right? And the pattern repeats itself over and over again. Which shape comes next? Yes, it is a triangle. What shape comes next? So which is the correct option? It would be circle. What shape comes next? So which is the correct option? The correct option is triangle. What shape comes next? Which is the correct option? The correct option is circle. Okay, what shape comes next? The next one is a triangle. So the correct option is a triangle. Okay, what shape comes next? So which is the correct option? The correct option is triangle. Right next to square, you must have a triangle. What shape comes next? Yes, the next one would be a square. Yes, it is a triangle. The correct option is triangle. The correct option is square. The correct option is a triangle. The correct option is yes, it is a circle. Good. What shape comes next? Which is the correct option? It would be a circle. What shape comes next? Yes, it would be a square. Okay, we are done with the lesson. Let's just start with the next lesson. The next one is complete a repeating pattern. So let's just start with the next one. Okay, use the shapes to continue the pattern. So which one? You just have to look for the pattern, right? The pattern starts with square, and right after a square you have a triangle, right? So you can see here you have a square. That means the next one would be a triangle and then a square, right? Okay, you have circle, then a triangle, right? So right after a circle you have a triangle. So here you have a triangle. That means the next one would be a circle and then you have a triangle. Okay, the next one is use the shapes to continue the pattern. So you have circle, sorry, you have a square, then a triangle, right? So here you have a square. That means the next one would be triangle and a square. Okay, let's just start with the test questions. Okay, use the shapes to continue the pattern. So, which is the shape after triangle? That means right after a triangle it would be, yes, option number one, a circle and a triangle. Option number one is the correct option, right? Yes, after, okay, I forgot to click on the OK button, sorry. Okay, the next one is use the shapes to continue the pattern. So, which is the correct option? That would be after the square, it would be a triangle and then again a square. So, the correct option is the second one, triangle and a square. It would be a square and then a circle. So, option two is the correct option. Use the shape to continue the pattern. So, which is the correct one? The correct option is a circle and a square triangle. Option one is the correct option. Okay, use the shapes to continue the pattern. Which is the next one? That is a circle and a square, right? Okay, this is very easy. You can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to the next lesson, right? The next lesson is, I think, make a pattern. Make a repeating pattern. Let's just start with the lesson. Okay. Use the shapes to make an AB pattern, right? What is AB pattern? Repeat the two shapes to continue the AB pattern, right? So if you triangle square, then triangle square, triangle square, right? That means if you start with triangle first and then square, you have to keep it same. It's up to you. You can use square first and then triangle, right? Okay, the second one is use the shapes to make an AB pattern. Okay, for the second one, you have just a square and a triangle. So you have to start with square triangle, then again square triangle, then again square triangle, then again square triangle, square and triangle, right? Repeat the two shapes to continue the AB pattern. Square, triangle. Like you just have to use the two shapes given, right? So you have to keep repeating them. If you place first, for the first two, if you place square first and then triangle, so you have to keep the pattern same. Always a square and then followed by a triangle, right? Use the shape to make an AB pattern. So it would be circle and triangle, square. So keep repeating circle first, then square, circle first, then square, right? The basic thing here is you have to keep repeating the pattern. Let's just start with the practice questions. Okay, use the shapes to make an AB pattern. So which is the correct option? Start with a square followed by a triangle. So you have to keep it same. Square, then triangle, square, then triangle. I think option one, square triangle, square triangle, square triangle. Option one is the correct option. Use the shapes to make an AB pattern. So which is the correct option? Yes, it is triangle, square, right? If you place the triangle first, you have to follow the same triangle and then followed by a square. Mm, okay, you have to count it, will end up on a square. Okay, use the shapes to make a pattern. It would be square triangle, square triangle, square triangle, square triangle, square triangle. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four, five. Square triangle, square triangle, square triangle, square triangle, square triangle. It will end up on triangle. Option number one is the correct option. Use the shapes to make an AB pattern. So it would be circle, square, circle, square, circle, square, circle, square, circle, square. So it will end up on option one is the correct option. Use the shapes to make an AB pattern. The correct option is triangle, circle, triangle, circle, triangle, circle, triangle, circle, triangle, circle. One, two, three. No, this option number one, two, three, four, five. Option number two is the correct option. You can see here you have circle and circle, right? So option 2 is the correct option. Use the shape to make an AB pattern. So which is the correct option? The correct option is option number 2 because you can see here you the same pattern shapes are repeating. Okay, use the shapes to make an AB pattern. So which option is the correct one? Option number 1 is the correct option. Use the shapes to make an AB pattern. So it is triangle, circle, triangle, circle. Option number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it will end up on a circle. Use the shapes to make an AB pattern. Circle, square. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, option 1 is the correct option. You have to count actually. Triangle, square, triangle, square, triangle, square, triangle, square, and option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, we are done with the lesson. So we are working on grade 4 math. We started with chapter data and graphs. The lessons we have covered are circle graph, choose the best type of graph. Then we have started the new chapter that is patterns and sequences. And the lessons we have covered are find the next shape in a repeating pattern and complete a repeating pattern. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the test questions for the lessons we did today. So if you need more help with the lesson, you can contact any tutor on the Skype. They are available from Monday to Friday, 5 to 9. So if you have any question, you can please ask. I am here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. So please ask if you have any question. No questions? Okay, that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye everyone.